Hey, it's Preston here. I am here with the review on the vintage Hitchcock play that I saw at Freedom High School last night, which was Thursday. And I'm just going to be talking about the plot and stuff, and I have a piece of paper here for an assignment I'm doing, so here we go. So, let's see, the plot. Alright. Well, first off, before I get on the plot, I want to say this play was very interesting. I'm not saying it was dumb at all. I'm not saying that at all. It was very different than what most plays I usually see. Yeah. So overall, I think this play was pretty good and pretty original for Freedom. So, good job for that. But anyways, what the plot was, what basically was, it was basically a, well, how should I say this, basically a radio show, or, if there was a radio show, was it, radio, I'm sorry guys, radio drama, okay, well, radio drama, radio show, anyway, but, yeah, yeah, so it wasn't like a regular play, it was like a radio show, so something like you would listen on the radio or in your car or something where they, you know, used objects to make some noise, like thunder stuff, but I'll get into more of that later. But anyways, the plot about was, it was basically just a radio show, basically telling 3 different spine-chilling, suspenseful thrillers, stories basically on the radio, and people would just listen to it. And it was basically the same, like 6-7 people, but except they were all in different. They were all different characters in their own different stories that they did. Like the first one, I believe, was called The Lodger, I believe, which was basically a guy called the Avenger that was a killer, and who stays at a hotel, and a couple start finding out about some clues about it, and then they realize, oh my gosh, this guy's the Avenger, this is the guy we're looking for, and their goal is basically to try, you know, find him and stop him and stuff like that. It's all basically all about the killer, and then this and that. So that's basically the first one, and the second one I believe was called Sabotage. At first I didn't understand, but then I kind of understood. It's basically like a terrorist thing where terrorists are planning to bomb. We're basically setting up explosives, like blowing up stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And it was just like London trying to figure out, like, who are these guys? What are they doing? Like, where are they going to strike next? It's just basically them trying to find out, like, when are the terrorists going to strike next, and this and that, who's behind it. And then the last one was 39 Steps, supposedly kind of similar to North by Northwest, where agent dies, but she gives the information to a random stranger, and he's basically now an agent. He has to try to stop this villain who's trying to take over the world, but in order to do that, he gets a hand with a lovely assistant, a lovely stranger who he meets on the way on a train. And their job is to basically stop him and try to find clues and prove that he's innocent and he didn't kill the agent, the girl agent in the beginning. So yeah, it's kind of similar to North by Northwest, I guess. I never seen the movie, so I'm just going to assume that that's right. So, and yeah, so that's pretty much it with the plot. Now, Alright, now I'm going to discuss a little bit more about the actors and the plot. Not the plot, I'm sorry, the set. All the characters all the actors and actresses did very well. I was kind of looking forward to saying, okay, they'll do okay. Nah, they won't do their very, very best, but at least they'll try. But I was surprised a lot of them did very, very well. I was impressed. Yeah, they almost kind of got me in the mood, like, wow, these guys are actually being serious. Man, this guy might be nuts and this and that. I really enjoyed the acting and the setting, the whole setting thing. At first, I was like, why is this look like Mr. Fantastic Fox? Like all the orange and red and yellow colors. It almost kind of looked like a Thanksgiving type thing. At first I wasn't a fan of it, but then I was like, okay, but you know, it's colorful. It kind of goes along with the set a little bit. And it makes it, then again, it is November, so Thanksgiving's coming, so I could understand why they did it. But again, it was still colorful. And besides that, all the doors, all the pictures everywhere, everything they used, it was great. It was a great set. I'm not saying it was the best set in the entire world, but it was very great for what it was. Very great. And in my opinion, I think the set did add to the to the play and the radio drama a little bit more, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think it was really a distraction throughout the whole time. I was staring at the characters and what they were saying, what was going on. I was not paying attention to the set whatsoever, so that proves that it was not a distraction, so good job on that. Now let's see here. And now the posters, the last thing are the posters on the walls and on the set. I think the posters were great because it basically symbolizes like what you're supposed to be watching, an Alfred Hitchcock thing. Like you had posters on like the birds. You had actually a poster on one of the places that they were supposed, one of the stories they actually did called 39 Steps. They had a poster for that. They did. They did North by Northwest. They did Vertigo. But I think the pictures worked really well. The only problem I had was where was the Psycho picture? That was my only complaint. That's probably the best Alfred Hitchcock movie of all time, and you didn't even add that on the wall. And that's the movie most people are familiar with because Alfred Hitchcock is Psycho. So that's my only problem with that. I kind of wish I had Psycho on there, you know, but yeah, but overall the pictures did work on there. It really did work. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the sounds and the effects. At first they're kind of corny, but then I realized, you know what, this is kind of, you know, a little cheesy and a little weird, but for some reason it still works, and I still like the fact that they can still use like different objects, like a stick for a cane, and use a shoe and bang it on the ground to make it look like somebody's walking. And they do some like smack them like to make like a gunshot or something, and wave like a metal sheet thing that make lightning and thunder effects. Even though it was wasn't the best effects, it was still fun to see that that's how they did everything, and all the effects and sound effects and stuff. And to be honest, what I mean by cheesy, I'm not saying that in a bad way. It was cheesy because it was, you know, it was just cheesy, but at the same time it was fun, and I enjoyed that very much. Yeah, so like I said, even though it was cheesy, it was still fun to me. It was still really interesting to see all that. Yeah, then oh yeah, I forgot to do this part, but I forgot to do this part very quickly. The actors, I know I mentioned a little bit about the actors, how they did a good job, but one of the questions my teacher asked me was, what did the characters act like they were in the 40s? And my answer is, most of the time they did. Sometimes it felt like, yeah, a little casual, this and that, but they were more like 85 to 90% of the time it was all to the 40s. It felt almost like in the 40s, like all the clothes they wore and how they talked and how they acted and stuff. It really did feel like it was in the 40s and stuff. And yeah, some of the accent stuff was awesome. I enjoyed it. It made me laugh in a good way, though, not like embarrassingly. So yeah, I enjoyed that, and I really think they did a good job with the 40s thing. I kind of hope they do something like that maybe some other time. Yeah, so it was very good, very funny. Yeah, and like I said, the multiple characters on there all great, all great. I'm not complaining about that. They were all great for what it was. And of course, I already mentioned about the sound effects, how it was good. It really fit through the story, like what was happening, like what was going on. Like there were some kissing noises and a lot of people laughed at. It was like they could tell like what it was supposed to mean, and they basically got the concept of what was happening and everything, like what the radio thing was about, when the kissing, the thing with the thunder, and the bane from the revolver. Sorry, I have to sit down for a second. Yeah, so, yeah, like I said, the music and sound was all great. It definitely made this play actually worth more watching, like I said. And I like the fact how they use little objects to create the sound effects, just ordinary objects, just to create great effects. Even there was an explosion effect that caught a few people off guard. So, I got off guard a little bit, but not a whole lot. I kind of knew it was coming. But anyways, yeah, so... Now, here comes one of the main things about this. How was this different from a regular play? Well, first of all, usually plays are like, I'm going to try to give an example here. Let's try play like Pinocchio or something. That I went to when I was a little kid. I used to go to these little plays all the time, like Pinocchio, Alice in Wonderland, Christmas Carol, stuff like that. With all those kind of plays, it's always like telling a story. Everybody's in character. There's usually sometimes multiple sets. They're actually walking. They're actually holding different objects and stuff like that. They're actually looking each other in the eye all the time, and they're actually trying to tell a story using all their action stuff. But with this radio drama, all they were doing was just reading from a script and talking on a microphone. And yeah, just basically reading their lines like this, that. And then what they use for like effects and sound effects, like you can tell if they're walking or they're opening a door or something, they would like have a door on the side, they would open and close, and then the shoes, they would bang on tables and make it look like they were walking stuff. So that was something different. Now, to be honest, in my opinion, I prefer, regular plays, but for radio plays, it's very interesting to see, like, you don't know what they're doing, but you have to kind of use your imagination by the sound effects and tell, like, okay, I can tell they're walking, or I can tell they're cleaning up a kitchen or something. So, but the one similarity I can think of would be... let's see here. Well, basically, they're still both plays, I know that, but I mean a little bit more. Yeah, so like, of course, the acting was still there. There's still people talking. People still use props in plays, so both of them used props. Both used sound effects. Everybody had to be their own character. So, in a way, it's kind of saying the only difference was one is visual, and the other is usually like not visual. You only hear it, but you could tell what's going on. So basically, plays are just something you see. Radio dramas are just stuff you usually hear. But if you see an actual radio drama, then you just can tell it's all people just reading their scripts and trying to stick in character and pretty much like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. And then did the script feel like did rely on the title, on Vintage Hitchcock? Basically, like, did the script lived up to the title of the play? That's kind of tough, to be honest. I'm going to just say, I guess, yeah. I don't really have a reason why. It's hard to explain. I mean, the play was good, but I don't... Yeah, I can't really answer that, to be honest. I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm sorry. I really can't. It's not I don't want to, it's just I can't. Yeah, so... I think there's a few things I think they could have done differently. Well, of course, have at least Psycho on there as their play. like on the poster or something, because you know that's a really popular movie. But that's only like a little side effect. I kind of wish it kind of got a little bit more cast members to do different characters, because I know a lot of the same people were doing parts. I know like some characters were like a person. I remember a girl doing like multiple parts, like they were trying to beat this character and then they were doing another character, and that's a little hard to do and pull off. I just think they should have gotten a little bit more cast members and given some of those parts to them. Yeah, and then the colors are alright, but don't really think. I was kind of thinking a little bit more darkish thing, but then again, like I said, it's almost Halloween and everything, so... No, I'm sorry, not Halloween, Thanksgiving. It's almost Thanksgiving, so you kind of have to have that little texture. And the guy who did Alfred Hitchcock, the voice narrating, was perfect. I liked it. He was funny. Yeah, so overall, the play was pretty good for what it was. It was fun. It really was fun. If I had to grade it, I would probably give it 8.5 out of 10, because even though it was definitely not the best play, but it was something definitely original, and it was still fun, and I give a round of applause to you, to everybody that was in the play, the guy who managed it, the teacher that I'm doing this to. I'm not going to give any names, but thank you. You did a really good job, and all the cast and crew, you did a great job too. I loved your performances. I liked your, the little special effects type thing you guys did. The set was good. Yeah, so overall, it was not a bad play. It was really good. Yeah, those are my only complaints, and those are my thoughts on it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, so Mr. K, I know who is. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's pretty much it. Again, you did a great job on the play. I enjoyed it. It was funny. I got the edge of my seat a couple of times. So overall, it was pretty good for what it was worth. So that's pretty much it. Peace out.